Thanks. Well, thanks for having me. So my background is up until 6 months ago, I was leading global analytics for one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. In that activity, I started doing some work to help my brother research recent advances for his disease. And so we launched a company called MetaFind earlier this year to stay on top of all advances for diseases to help patients looking for new treatment options.
And so does the timing have anything to do with the coronavirus pandemic, or did it just sort of come about this year coincidentally?
100% coincidental. We literally left my previous role on the 28th. We launched on February 29th, which is Rare Disease Day. And then about 2 weeks later, we went into lockdown. So completely coincidental.
So you have witnessed the impact on research of the coronavirus lockdown and the social distancing requirements. Now, I was just reading a report on impact on tuberculosis research, for example, and we're seeing a large percentage of TB researchers are having their work diverted from TB to COVID-19 and then having trouble getting their TB-related projects started back up again after they've worked on COVID. Is this a general theme we're seeing in medical science research right now?
Yes, it's a significant problem for researchers in areas essentially other than the handful of the infectious diseases related to COVID. So as we go through the process of helping patients stay on top of new research, and we kept seeing this in all the thousands of diseases we track. And some of the most significant areas that are being hit are infectious diseases that are being crowded out, like tuberculosis, because all the research is going to COVID and related diseases such as SARS, MERS, pneumonia. That we're seeing dramatic increases in the activity and research for a handful of diseases, and the rest of science is being slowed down by 30–40% on average.
Can you speak to some of the metrics and indicators here?
Yeah, so for us, we actually did an analysis of all the research that comes through what's called PubMed, which I would assume your audience is familiar with, but it's a repository of all biomedical research. And we looked at the research output for about 3,000 diseases from a year ago to today, and looked at the sort of what's the relative rates of decline. And we see that sort of COVID, for example, is up by 30-some thousand% because it was like one article a year ago. There's just so many research articles on COVID. But for diseases such as cancers, even and other diseases that almost don't feel related, we are seeing declines as much as 70% down for certain cancers that don't even feel related, because there's research crowding out for direct researchers, and then there's just because of social distancing, clinical trials had to be slowed down or canceled, and there's just a lot of other implications that slow down all the research across the board, and you see it in the published literature in the sciences.